Hello and welcome to Franchise Mutiny. I'm Isaac. I'm here with a very good friend of mine. His formal name is Joseph, but he goes by Joe. Joe, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Isaac?
I'm doing good. How long have you gone by Joe?
Since I moved to, Arizona.
Really? That's not that long.
It. Yeah,
so people called you Joseph.
I was like Joseph in Colorado, in Texas, because football, and then now I'm Joe.
It wasn't like a thing your parents said when you were young and just stuck with it. You literally chose your name.
Well, at least in school and stuff. My parents will call me whatever they please.
Hey kid, and then
dude,
go get something.
Yeah.
Just hey kid, go get something.
Not even me, just any kid.
This just came to mind. There's someone who you're very good friends with and has always been really nice to me, but I have no idea what to call them. Because they have one of those names that could be many things, and I don't think I've ever said this person's name to that person. But you probably know what to call him by. Jonathan?
Yeah.
What does he go by?
I call him Johnny.
You call him Johnny?
But then he also goes by John.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. I've heard several different things.
I think you should do John.
John.
I think Johnny was a thing that was developed in middle school.
Developed in a lab.
And I just took it and ran with it. And I don't even know if he liked being called Johnny. Extremely
nice person, but the one time I said his name, he kind of gave me a look. I'm like, okay, that's not it. But I forgot what name that was, so I'm kind of in this position. Not that I see him,
right?
But he's
back.
One of those weird thing.
And black. I am black.
Yeah. So shout out to Johnny, Jonathan, whatever name he prefers.
Look at that.
I love that. I'm not gonna give my name. You're not gonna give your full name.
We're
gonna out some people.
No,
we're gonna out some people. We'll find a way to bleep it. But this part is a part of the show.
Oh, fantastic!
Fantastic.
Won't happen again.
Won't happen again. Isn't that right, Jonathan?
Oh gosh, why are we bringing?
I don't know, because we're talking about formal names. My name's Isaac. There's no way to shorten that, really.
Ike.
Is that an actual?
I don't know. I don't think it comes from Isaac, though. We can just call you Eyes.
Eyes. In 5th grade, for a couple of days, I was called Sack.
Yeah.
And that really hurt my feelings.
Is Sack.
Yeah, either that or they would just say Sack. They would just call me, hey, Sack. And that really bothered me at the time, but now I really don't care if someone were to call me Sack.
Okay, Sack.
Cool, let's move
Completely unaffected, folks.
Wow. If you could see the plain look on my face.
Yeah. There's no tears.
I'm a regular Isaac, plain and tall.
And I'm Joe.
And Jonathan is somewhere out there.
You gotta get a bleeping.
Okay, so I don't think we described what we're doing for this episode.
No, we are not.
We are not.
Never going to.
We are not doing this episode.
You're just gonna have to figure out yourselves.
Franchise Mutiny. What we do is we talk about film series. There's a lot of podcasts out there that talk about movies and are very intelligent and dissect films one at a time and in a very clever way. We are not that.
We're two guys.
Two guys
who enjoy movies.
We're in college, so we don't know anything. I think that's just assumed.
A couple of Jon Snows.
A couple of Jonathan. Couple of John. Okay, so today we're talking about Spy Kids.
Yeah, great series you might remember from your childhood.
Yeah, I remember it from my childhood.
As do I.
And I had to watch all these movies again, except for 2011. I wasn't a child, and I didn't want to see it.
Is that when Spy Kids 4 came out in 2011?
Yes, 2011.
5?
Spy Kids 4.
I feel so old now. I thought that was like last year. Wow.
Okay, so the movies we're going to be talking about: Spy Kids 2001, Spy Kids 2, Island of Lost Dreams 2002, Spy Kids 3D Game Over 2003, 1 year after the other. A real Saw-like franchise, 1 year after the other, and then they took a break, And 2011, Spy Kids 4, all the time in the world.
I think they're very smart. They let the kid actors marinate in their just, they could learn more as the actors. And they definitely had so many more career opportunities in between that time to get better at acting. You can definitely see it.
And I understand the first 3 movies are very time intensive because they are kids. So you kind of have to make them like right now. You got to make those the kids.
Brave New World.
Or else they're gonna be too old in the next one. But they took a long break.
No, I don't know why they would make another one. What?
We'll talk about the potentials of a sequel when we get to 2011. But we're gonna break down each film one by one and give a 15-second plot synopsis. Short for synopsis. Look at all the time I saved by not saying synopsis. I said plot synopsis.
That's also why I go by Joe.
Because it takes way too
every
much
time I might have said Joseph. If you add all those milliseconds together, I've now had more time to live than normal people.
Than normal.
Than the average person.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
The guy who says the least lives the longest.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a poster that says that. So yeah, we're going to alternate 15-second plot synopsis. Something's going to happen in the middle. I'm not entirely sure what yet. And we flipped a coin before. Real game of chance here. See who's going to do the first 15-sec plot synopsis.
And that would be me. I'm going to do the first movie.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to have a 15-second plot synopsis. As soon as you speak, I will start it. And then after 15 seconds, you will be shunned forcefully. And we will learn nothing else about the plot to this movie.
2 kids discover that their parents are actually spies when the parents go missing and their house is attacked by giant thumbs. With the help of their uncle and their uncle who's not their uncle, these kids become spies too and stop a TV show host who has an army of robot kids and deformed cartoon people.
Done. Ooh. 0.03 seconds away.
I even messed up a little bit.
And you made it. That's probably going to be better than I did. So, Spy Kids, it's 2001. The year is 2001. And
kids are everywhere.
Kids are everywhere.
Kids have never been bigger before. Spies have never been bigger before.
Obesity is running rampant. But yeah, I feel like in the 2000s and like late 90s, there's all these kids movies that are like, kids can do anything. A kid that's a spy? Well, of course. And then stuff like Agent Cody Banks comes out.
Baby Spies or whatever that was called. Super Babies.
Super Babies, Baby Geniuses 2, I think is the title. I'm sad I know that.
I haven't seen that or the Cody Banks, but I know they exist.
I know that they exist, and that angers me.
Also, when did Cats and Dogs come out? Because that's Cats like a spy.
It's a spy thing, but it's not as kid empowering.
But spies.
And it did have a movie in 2011, the sequel, Revenge of Kitty Galore.
See, Spies came in 2001, and then they came back in 2011.
Yeah. So, I really like Spy Kids. I think watching it again, I could really appreciate just, I don't know, it was just really entertaining, and it didn't feel as dumbed down as I remembered it being.
Right, and I definitely, could still feel the same feelings that, of, hey, kid, you can do it, when, Junie's, slipping, or even something as simple as that. It's as a kid, I freaked out about, I was like, come on, you can do it, every time I watched it, but then, as an older person, it was still, because I grew up with them,
for 3 years I grew up with them. And just simple character trait type things. Junie has band-aids on his fingers because he's sweaty all the time. He gets warts. I think there's a relatable thing. I like the relationship between Junie and Carmen, and how she's the big sister and she has to watch over Junie even when he's in trouble. What I thought was really funny was seeing in the beginning, of course, Junie, because of the plot, has to get bullied and treated not well. Mm-hmm. And because of the bandages on his fingers, a kid calls him a mummy. That doesn't hurt. Being called a mummy, that kind of sounds cool.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, I'm a mummy.
I can't imagine, like, bandages, the connection between bandages and mummy is not, like, a solid enough one.
It's not solid enough. And it's on his fingers. To be offensive.
Yeah, it's like...
it's like a small bandage.
It's not like he's, like, came out of the bathroom and had, like, toilet... Like, even if you came out of the bathroom and had, like, toilet paper stuck on your shoe...
Yeah.
Calling them a mummy would be funnier than a kid who has bandages.
Yeah. And since it's also a kid's movie, they can't do anything too aggressive or insulting, so they kind of have to...
Yeah, isn't there a moment where, like, his dad is, like, was, like, watching it happen, too, or something? And
he went up to the parents'
right,
dad.
And, like, beats him up, doesn't he? Or, like,
he has a fantasy that he beats him up.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. That was so funny.
Yeah. I like Antonio Banderas in this. I'll say
I like Antonio Banderas in general.
In general. This is written, directed, so many things done by Robert Rodriguez. I'm going to call him Rob Rod for short. He does so much in these movies that you can't really blame anyone else. And I'm excited to when the later ones come, but I think this one's just clever enough and has a little bit of the weird, like, kid side of it. What sticks out to me, like a sore thumb is... Floops, Fluglies, and anything involving that, because it just goes down this weird cartoonish.
Yeah,
it could have been a spy movie.
To me, that was scary though.
The idea that a kid would watch 30 minutes of just
backwards talking and just like they slide around and they're scary looking.
Yeah, enslaved creatures that are.
Yeah, that never clicked. I had to like watch like when I watched it. Recently, that those were people getting turned into, like, monsters. And, like, that was even more scary.
What is the show? Like, how could this be anything more than 10 minutes of one episode tops? Like, I guess in the show, he sings a song, and then there are a bunch of characters, and they're like, oh, this is Shna Shna. This, the one with the weird smile, and then he says something.
And yeah, like the Teletubbies don't even talk, do they? So I mean, that's what comes to mind.
Oh, so you're saying that, like the whole show is just Teletubby style? Nothing.
I don't know why Junie watches it, but like anyone younger,
he seems a little too old.
Anyone younger than him,
it's really.
Sadly, I could see that being a real thing.
I don't know. The clips were just like them falling down a rainbow.
I'm telling you, I've seen some weird...
Okay, I don't know what you're watching.
Kid shows.
Really?
A person I know's younger siblings.
Say their full name.
No, I'm good. I don't say their full name. They were watching a show, and it was so frustrating to watch.
Frustrating.
Like, the character was like a paintbrush, and they were doing, like, colors, right? But...
Doing colors?
But, like, the animations were, like, it may as well have been, like, clip art.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was, like, a PowerPoint presentation where someone was just clicking a bunch, like, the way it moved, And it was, like, I could have made something better on, like, Paint. Mm-hmm. And then just had, like, a flip book and put a camera in front of it, and it would have been better quality than what I was watching. But the girl... these girls, they loved it.
So we know it's... we're narrowing it down slowly. We'll get the full names.
Yeah. These girls loved it, though, and I was scared.
So this movie, in a way, it's about kids who are spies and their parents get kidnapped, they save them, whatever. I think it's really an arc about how a man who's dressed up like Willy Wonka finds and makes a good show.
Yeah.
When you really boil it down, it's Willy Wonka trying to make a good show and learning that in order to make his show work, he just needs kids. Not creepy at all, just he needs...
Lots of kids.
Yeah, because at the end he's just like, I don't know what to do.
Robot kids, clones.
Yeah,
thousands of them.
And Junie's like, hey, you gotta put some kids on so it's not boring. Not a good advice tip thing.
Yeah, like, and he's a kid that's a spy.
Yeah.
Probably the last person to give, like, TV show advice.
Oh, you want a kid's opinion? Well,
you should
put some more kids in it.
I will say the show got better throughout the movies. We will get
I
to
don't
that.
know.
We will get to it later.
I don't know. I did like the one song that was in here. That's the second one. The first movie. I like the "You Could Dream My Dream" song. It's not know who, what, where, why. I still don't understand the tiny brain thing. Is that a kid robot brain? Yeah. So.
To this day,
Willy Wonka.
What is that important?
Willy Wonka and Minion. We didn't watch Minions to prepare for this. I don't think it's attached to this movie, but it is. It's a similar title. They say Minion, but I think what was happening was Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka wanted. Minions. I'm gonna ask you about that once this episode's done, because I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Another friend of ours, Josh, told us he saw it and didn't like it.
Wow, we're just saying everyone's names. I did not like Minions either. It was
okay. So I think what happened was they wanted to make a kid army to replace kids, like the president's daughter. My date with the president's daughter. That's a Disney Channel original movie song. You're welcome for that tidbit. Wow. But they created brains, but their development, like computer brains, I guess, AI, Ex Machina type stuff, and
you can see the parallels.
You could see the parallels.
They stop
very intense
right there.
And the joke is that they're very small brains and they can't speak. They go.
I do remember them not speaking.
I don't know. This is a fun movie. A woman gets her head set on fire by a jetpack at camp. That bothered me because she didn't like shave the rest of her head. She just had like spots. Mm-hmm. But other than that weird nitpick that doesn't have anything to do with it, I appreciate the diversity in these movies up to a certain point. Because there's not a lot of Hispanic diversity in movies anymore. And unless it's like fitting within stereotypes, but it's great to see.
It's either a joke or
because this could have easily been a white family,
as we see in Spy Kids 4.
But old Rob Rod said, "You know what, Rob." I'm losing my mind. He said, "You know what, we're not gonna do that, and let's move on to Spy Kids 2." The Island of Lost Dreams. The year is 2002. And it's my turn.
Alright, 15 seconds on the clock.
15-second plot synopsis. The Spy Kids are at it again. After a mysterious device is stolen, Junie and Carmen go rogue to a spooky island where they encounter a mad scientist. Donegan is behind the plot to use the transmuter to destroy the world, but family beats giggles, and the in-laws are at...
We'll never know what the in-laws do because we were interrupted.
We're going to have to go back and... Do you see that spike in the... We're going to turn down the volume at that, so if anyone who is by chance listening...
Yeah, the
don't
two
just
people that...
crash their cars. Jonathan.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, so, I don't know, first thing I want to talk about this movie is, there's like a really weird, like, there could be a movie in between Spy Kids and Spy Kids 2, because when Spy Kids 2 picks up, it's kind of like, now Spy Kids is an organization, and all kids are Spy Kids. It used to be just like, oh, Junie and Carmen just stumbled into being Spy Kids, and now every kid's a Spy Kid?
Seems just about everyone's a Spy Kid.
Everyone's...
And they're very vocal about it as the movies progress.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, he'll go up to someone and he's like, I'm a Spy Kid agent, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Let me handle this.
Level whatever.
And it's just, level 3. And then it's like,
yeah.
Do you tell that to everyone that you're a spy?
Yeah. I like that they all went to the like big banquet dinner with their parents, and it's not like they're random spy kids. They're just the kids of spies.
Yeah,
like that's the only qualification. If you're a kid of a spy and you're like 5 years old, here's a weapon. Go take down villains.
Here's hacking knowledge. Education on how to hack the government. And your kid.
No.
Hope you're responsible.
Hack your kid.
Oh.
Uh,
Taser bubblegum that they just hand out.
oh yeah. That, like it's some sort of candy.
Oh.
Bubblegum. So this time it seems like the thumbs, which I don't think we talked about, were just giant robot thumbs that couldn't do anything.
Yeah, there's hardly any way to describe a thumb to someone who hasn't seen one.
But at the same time, if you Google thumb and you have no idea what it is and you see the image, you'd be like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, whatever you're thinking in your head is exactly what it is.
But it's also hard to think of.
Deal with it.
Yeah. But this time they're magnet heads.
Oh yeah, our new goons.
New goons, magnet heads.
Defy all logic.
Defy all logic. I love the look of them because they look like they're waiters and stuff, and that's kind of cool. But as soon as they get lifted up and they all snap their necks simultaneously,
yeah, the way the magnets fly.
Magnets don't work in this movie.
That's not at all. Yeah, if you're studying magnets, would not recommend Spy Kids 2.
This
it's not a documentary on how the magnets work.
I like that a sequel to a kids movie could somehow be misconstrued for a documentary on something scientific. We also should mention that Bill Paxton is Dinky Winks in the opening sequence. What do you call it? Like how James Bond has a sequence. They have an opening where they're in a theme park where people vomit constantly onto umbrellas.
Oh yeah.
And the key is so easily attained by anyone that you could just get stuck up there. This movie has, I think, more CGI than the first one.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Because you have the theme park.
The theme park,
juggling.
The creatures alone.
The creatures are the worst. I would say the creatures look the worst out of anything in this series. And I'll stand by that, and I'll explain my logic behind that in the next movie, because I know that your brain's probably shooting off like that. The next movie is a lot worse, but I'll defend myself.
I think
I'll fight.
I think they do. The spider monkey definitely looks horrendous. They all look pretty bad.
But looks
the
better.
idea is my favorite part of that whole movie.
Yeah.
The idea that someone would take puns and then turn them into real creatures was so cool.
And it's not really a spy. Is it really a spy thing? You go to an island? Like, I mean, there's a couple James Bond movies where, like, Dr. No, he goes to an island to see, you know what, Dr. No. But I don't think island adventure when I think spies.
It's definitely a tad bit of like Indiana Jonesy with its
it's more Indiana Jones
encountering magic type things and
we
or is a I'm going to describe the transmuker device as an amulet or like a pendant or something. It's not a device. It is a crazy magical relic.
There's so much about this movie. There's the whole device thing. They don't really go into details, so I guess I shouldn't care. But there's also the whole point of this movie feels like a spy is not just as good as their gadgets, and that's you got to be smart outside. And then they got those dumb rubber bands, and it's a really cool message. Like, think creatively, be smart. But then in the end, all their devices start working again because the transmuter's destroyed or whatever because they used the rubber bands. And it's kind of going against the whole...
Yeah, well...
we don't need our gadgets. Fly around on rocket boots.
Yeah, be ready for when your gadgets don't work. But if you got gadgets, use the gadgets.
Also, the trope, the sequel trope of if you have someone who's very skilled in the first movie, the second movie you have to have a rival of some sort who's just as good, if not better. You gotta best them. This time it's Gary and Gertie Giggles. I had to struggle to say those names because
they are hard names.
They are even worse characters.
Not the girl.
Yeah, the girl. I don't know. They're just. I don't know if they're poorly put together.
We need to talk about the camel poop part.
Yeah, so a part of going rogue apparently is stealing identities of your rivals and then sending them off to Camel Island.
In the middle of nowhere.
It was the middle of nowhere.
I mean, it was like this, desert.
Yeah.
But for some reason, our antagonists blindly walked off of their ship that's supposed to be on an island and sunk into camel poop. Said words, conversed with each other, and then decided to spit the camel poop.
Camel poop, I believe, was what Gertie said, and then went in his
Cortez. And then he spits out poop
into the camera, and they fell below like the surface of the earth.
Yeah, their chins are touching poop.
Like a camel dug a hole. I want to see just a camel just like...
These camels dug a hole and have been pooping in it. Like 30 camels have been pooping in one hole.
No way that was
There's no way that was one.
camel.
That was like 10 elephants worth of feces.
And also, I want to say Gertie has a very crazy pigtail helicopter.
That's
thing
cool, though.
That would scalp her, most likely.
Yeah, her whole body is being supported by her hair.
I imagine as she's flying, she's like,
screaming.
Ouch, I need to get up there. But
Well, also, I'm no aerodynamics major, but I don't think hair would be very good for flying.
Why?
That's also a propeller.
True. I didn't think about that. I just thought of the
strands of.
And what do you think does that? Is it the little braid thing? Like the rubber bands themselves?
A motor or something?
I don't know.
Well,
I would say one of the big jokes in this movie, or what they want us to think is a big joke in this movie, is we've got watches that do all these things, news updates, whatever. They can't tell time.
Everything but telling time.
I think it's the first smartwatch that's ever existed. Can't tell time. Oh, when they're... At one point, the Spy Kids call the villains from the first movie, and they're not villains anymore because the justice system is broken.
Right.
And
it was an accident.
Yeah, and Minion's put on the phone. He tells them some of the plot and tells them what to do. And at the very end, Minion says, and I quote, "Now be a good girl and swat your brother for me." That made me uncomfortable. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be vulnerable.
First of all, being called good girl by the bad guy.
Now be a good girl and swat your brother for me by someone who's a villain
trying to kill him
with like
several faces,
and several heads on his head.
Yeah.
That stuck out to me so much so that I had to write that down.
Definitely not the worst minion to exist in cinema. I can think of 3 smaller yellow ones that are worse. But this one is pretty up there. And then
the thing, and I think this movie's a little too long, and I'm not enjoying it as much. I kind of think it's boring. But they could have cut out a good portion of this movie because they go underground and they find this device and they're like, oh, or not a device. I call everything a device. Everything's a device to me. I'm holding this paper device. They find like a jewel or whatever, and Junie's like, ooh, gotta have that. But not after, like, they could be like, I could read your mind.
Yeah,
which would
the whole mind reading thing.
That would give me so much anxiety.
Like, that first of all confirms that magic is in this universe.
Magic is in this universe. Well, there was a sea monster earlier. When they're about to get on the island. Do you think the guy made the sea monster?
It's possible.
Or do you... Ooh, getting deep into that one.
Possible. Speaking of deep, the whole scientist's message doesn't... What does he say that's, like, super crazy? Like, he's like, do you think God abandoned his children or whatever, right?
Yeah, he said
what
something crazy
in the world?
like that.
He's like, my children are trying to kill me and I'm going to abandon them. Do you think?
Do you think things turn on?
It was crazy
on their creators or something like weird philosophical.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
then like it's like, oh hey, wait a second, we're in a kid movie. Can you make a fart joke now? Because that was That was crazy, but it was like watching it now is like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what did you just say to, potentially a bunch of kids?
Yeah, but yeah, the whole fighting skeletons thing could have been cut out. It didn't add anything. Yeah. It was just like a weird tangent. The last thing I'll probably say about this movie is I wrote this down very early on, and I regret writing it down. It's Carmen is always hacking while Junie is always snacking.
It's true, though.
And what's going to happen right now, I didn't tell my guest Joe about this, but what's going to happen, I'm going to press pause on this recording, because in one of our production meetings, we have production meetings, we're a real show, we were talking about the movies, and I told him about this end credit sequence, and he said he didn't get to see that either, because Netflix just immediately likes to not let you watch it. And you were already saying you're a big fan of the song Who, What, When, Where, and Why?
Oh, no. I am a fan. But
okay.
Is there more?
There is more in this end credits thing. So when we come back, I'm going to hit pause on the recording. We'll get your reaction to this amazing piece of cinema. Okay, and we're back. So what do you think of that sweet music video that was attached to the end there?
I like Floop's more. I wish that one was longer, but this one...
This one's too long.
This one was performed by our protagonists, Carmen and Junie, and it made me cringe.
To me, the most upsetting part is it keeps cutting back to Danny Trejo's Machete, and he's turning dials, he's doing stuff. You see stuff on the screen, and then as soon as it ends, they come up to him, he's like, I didn't put any batteries in this.
Yeah, for some reason,
they little
at the same time that Machete changed the dancing speed, the language sang in, and so much more.
He didn't put any batteries.
Carmen also happened to do these things.
Yeah, let's move on. That was good. We're halfway through. This show's right behind.
All right, so
Spy Kids
I think
3.
we're gonna start with our 50 second, because I'm spending forgive me. Junie is back from retirement to play a virtual reality game in order to save his sister, who is investigating the game's creator, the Toy Maker. Junie teams up with new friends to beat levels with racing, robots, and dangerous Q-tips. When the Toy Maker breaks loose and I struggled with that one.
We'll
Spy Kids 3!
Okay, so yeah. Spy Kids 3D, game over. Go home.
Can't forget the 3D element.
Can never forget that.
I'll be honest, this might be one of the last movies to have 3D that I actually cared about as a kid, Like
there weren't that many, is it?
No, and it's nowadays they just slap 3D on it so they can charge you more. Really,
this might have been one of the last gimmick.
That's what I think. That's what I meant.
Like Journey to the Center of the Earth is after this, but still, and it's also like how the second one had the trope of we got to put rivals in, we got to put competition. This is the third movie 3D sequel. So there's been Jaws 3D, Friday the 13th 3D. And Step Up 3D.
All very similar to Spy Kids.
All cinema classics in their own right. Usually having things dropped into the camera. Like, whoa, I dropped all these coins.
Yeah.
And that happened.
Or something threatening coming out at you.
Yeah.
Which, for Spy Kids standards, is usually like a boxing glove.
Yeah. So, this movie... They don't put it in 3D on Netflix, so I think I would have enjoyed this a little bit more if it was in 3D, or I might have been more annoyed. I don't know where I would stand on that. How about you?
I definitely would have enjoyed it more. Just because, I have some fond memories of laughing about, something flying out at me.
Yeah. And I want to ask this question I thought of a really long time ago, but is this a Spy Kids movie? Or do you think this was, some sort of script Rob Rod came up with? He's like, I got an idea about kids going into a video game. Kids like video games. We're going to have a video game. It was like real life, like Tron with video games. That's not Robert Rod at all. But it doesn't feel feel like a Spy Kids movie.
I see what you're saying. The second one even kind of made the, like drew the line and got really close to what's even a spy movie anymore. You know? But then the third one definitely, I mean, the only thing that I can think that's spy related is that Junie has some training, that he's better than your average kid, and he also tells everyone he sees that he's an agent. And that they should help him because of it. He's like, I'm trying to save the world. Okay, kid. Like if someone on PlayStation is like, I'm an agent, I'm gonna laugh and then not take them seriously. For obvious reasons. So
the thing that that makes me not even think this is a Spy Kids movie, because the majority of it is just Junie.
Spy Kid
movie. And not even spy. He starts the movie off as a detective, a gumshoe, he says, and then he steps on the stickiest gum that ever existed.
He's back from retirement.
Yeah, something pulled him back in, and it was the idea that his sister was stuck in a video game. This movie is full of just weird things. Like, things will happen, and it feels like the movie's trying to tell you, this is normal, right? and then you're like, no, that doesn't happen. Not everyone stands in line holding a piggy bank to buy a video game. Like, this is before even they go into the weird part of the movie, the actual video game. They're standing in line on piggy bank, and Junie drops his piggy bank. Everyone just laughs at him.
Yeah, nobody helped him or anything.
No one helped him.
And then they took his spot in the line.
Yeah, everyone's the worst.
Yeah. It's like, I would fight people. If I was Junie, I would hurt people.
You would pick up a shard of that piggy bank.
Yeah. And well, I'd be getting out my taser gun.
Your taser gun, yeah. Spit it on their faces and then...
But, I mean, yeah, once we get into the game, I mean, you've got kids that, in my opinion, bully Junie consistently throughout the movie.
Constantly telling him the wrong thing.
Them. Yeah. They
go do that.
They fool him and, like, harm him, like, 4 different times.
He loses several lives because of it.
And they, like, it takes 5 times for them to finally realize that, oh, maybe we should stop being rude to this guy. And then you also have the romance between a computer, like an AI.
Yeah, I get really uncomfortable anytime there's a romance that's put in a kids movie. Like, Spy Kids 2 was fine because it was Gary and Carmen and there wasn't much.
Yeah, nothing. It was like I don't want to say infatuation, but like a crush. Like Carmen kind of had a crush on him.
Almost like casually flirtatious almost, but this felt heavy for some reason. And we're just supposed to root for him, just like, talk to that little girl.
Get that hologram.
Get that.
That punched you in the face a few times.
The way people are dressed in this movie.
Epic.
I hate the sunglasses that one kid is wearing. That doesn't even go on his goggles. Ears. Yeah, they're goggles, and they rip his head from his skull. Not by his ears, from his skull.
The armor is what I would expect in a game.
Yeah, it's kind of like really bad Pacific Rim mixed with Iron Man, but not as cool as you'd think that would be.
Right.
Like plastic.
It's too bulky. It's like bubbles.
Yeah.
Of steel.
We didn't talk about this about the second movie, but the grandparents were brought in.
Oh, yes.
And Ricardo Montalban, he played Khan in Star Trek 2. He's now the grandfather.
I definitely like their role because it's usually pretty humorous.
It's pretty funny the way they interact with Antonio Banderas. Yeah. They're not really approving.
Right. But then they love the kids.
Yeah, it seems like something out of like Everybody Loves Raymond type, just sitcom. Like we'll keep the parents entertained by this type of comedy. But
the third one,
the choice that they had Ricardo Montalban in a wheelchair. I don't know if that was.
There's the plan all along.
I don't understand. Is it because Ricardo Montalban was getting older and he needed a wheelchair to be in this movie, like he can walk around? Because I know he died soon after this one.
Oh, really?
But or was it just like a writing choice, like, oh, he's gonna be in a wheelchair? Because it's built into the plot later on.
Makes him divert. I mean, they're really good at the diversity.
Diversity, we'll find out next time too.
But they're pretty good at that, and I think maybe they just had him, and then the third one, when they want him involved, I guess.
Yeah.
He's gotta have.
I wrote down a quote. Junie gets some sort of power-up type thing where he's like, you could get help from a family member or something. He's going through all the stats. And then when it comes up to Ricardo Montalban's profile, I think the Sylvester Stallone robotic voice says, cons, physically disabled. And says it like that. Cons, physically disabled.
Yeah.
And then he's there on the moon. Ricardo Montalban.
They give him legs.
Not only do they give him legs, they make him grab a pill that says mega legs on it.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh. And I'd say that's insensitive.
Just a tiny bit.
And then apparently Grandpa's got a grudge. He's after the toy.
He's after Rocky.
He's after Rocky.
Rockies, because there's he's got multiple personality disorder.
I do like Sylvester Stallone in this movie. I think he's one of the few things that's watchable in this movie. He's very entertaining, and it's nice to see
it's crazy.
A joking side to him. Because otherwise, I'm kind of bored, and the visuals aren't great. But I still said the visuals in the second movie weren't good, and even worse than this one. I think this one gets some slack because it's someone's idea of this is
a video game would
look
like. Yeah,
this is what a PlayStation video game would be. Not PlayStation 2, but PlayStation 1.
The appeal to me for this one was just I love playing games, and it's just it would be so cool to be inside of one. You know, that whole idea was like I remember me and my siblings would make up a game that we would be inside of. That was the game. And we would run around away from those those chompies or whatever those little robots and stuff. We would pretend that we were running from those.
But I don't
park and stuff.
I like the concept of a game, but it doesn't feel. It feels like an excuse to not have a plot. It's just now we
crazy levels.
Now we do a race.
Inconsistent, yeah.
And now we fight, and now we surf lava because it looks cool. It's just riding to get from one thing to the other.
Yeah, as you say that, definitely.
Whereas the other two movies were kind of there was without that weird mind reading subplot,
which they can still do.
And yeah,
in this movie,
they talked to
we
each other.
thought that the cave had magic that they could read each other's minds. However, they still did it in a video game.
They still didn't.
So, not only is magic confirmed in real life,
they Pacific Rimmed each other.
But yeah, they can in a video game. There's also magic.
Yeah. So, is it that if you and I were to walk through that cave,
bonded for life?
We're bonded for life. I could be anywhere in the world. Just think, Joe, how are you doing? And then you could think back something. It just stuck with you forever. That's
the only logical.
That sounds terrible. What if you become a mortal enemy or an immortal enemy?
Well,
in some cases,
then you'll know my plan to destroy you.
I'll have to get a Magneto helmet or something.
Oh.
So yeah, I think that's a lot of this movie. So the last message was spies could be smart without their gadgets. This message is everyone's your family.
Oh yes.
Gertie at one point tells him everyone's your family. So it has to be true.
Which doesn't make sense.
No, not at all.
Because
no,
it doesn't. I
don't think you have to justify it at all. It's just it's if you're to tell me not everyone's your family, I'd be like, yeah.
Well, it's even less true because half of the cast are their enemies.
Are there enemies?
Yeah, they're like mortal enemies.
Once again, no justice system.
Yeah, they're forgiven instantly.
And even this villain, who, quote, he's the one who put Grandpa in a wheelchair.
Yeah, they forgive him.
They forgive him. You could cause so much catastrophe, but if you say, you know what, I'm going to change my ways. Like, Batman v Superman should have been different. Superman could say, like, I murdered so many people, I'm sorry.
And then, and then Junie Wayne is like, it's okay, Superman. We're all family.
Yeah, I'll call you later. You could help me fight someone else.
Doomsday just wants a hug from his family. But they kept blasting with lasers, so he said, you know what? I'll fight you.
I also, there was a weird family poverty subplot. There was a kid who was playing the game so he could get the prize to save his family.
Yeah, and
he said it right before.
Yeah, they gave you all of his, background story so that you could see why the fight would be a struggle.
2 seconds before.
It's like
my family's struggling, I need this. And then, okay, pick 2 people to fight me. And then,
And then what were the recommendations? Pick your strongest, and he goes up. But then what was Junie?
I think it was pick your smartest, maybe?
Smart. But Junie's not smart.
He's not smart.
There was a nerd. The stereotype nerd character.
I didn't like how nerds were stereotyped in this movie. Yeah. Because of the hackers. Ricardo Montalban picks them up, and they're like, hey, they're just a bunch of dweebs. And then he laughs at them as they run away.
Right.
He's pointing and laughing. That's
not
nice.
And the new kids in real life.
New kids on the block.
The exact opposite.
Oh, yeah. They had such cool spiky 2000s hair, and now they're out of the video game. They got flat hair.
Yeah. It was goofy.
I'm going to say the last thing I would say about this one, I didn't really enjoy it. I thought it involved too based on its gimmick that I didn't have time to enjoy it, but it's... I had some... Even their concepts go back on each other. There's... At one point, a character gets 0.5 of a life. I think Junie gets 0.5 of a life. That's not... You can't do that.
Yeah, definitely.
You set something up. As soon as you're out of your lives, you're done. And then 0.5. Start putting fractions in there.
Unless Toymaker wanted Junie to do all that he did.
Yeah. Anything you want to say? Concluding.
It's definitely not my favorite one, but as a kid, I remember thinking it was the coolest thing ever. But now it's very all over the place.
It's very obvious, the things floating in front of you.
Right.
And you're like, well, I could touch it.
I remember reaching out in the theater as a kid. I was like you always see in the trailers.
The trailers
there's always it's
jumping.
A super over exaggerated thing. Yeah. I remember.
You're one of those kids.
What?
How is this happening? Okay, so
numero cuatro.
Okay, so we're back at the last movie of this thing. It's been a long episode. We've took a long journey, a long voyage, but we're here. It's 2011. We traveled from 2001 to 2002 to 2003. I'm making this even longer, and now we're in 2011. How could it be? The kids are probably old now. Well, let's hear crinkle paper.
The plot.
Let's start off with a 15-sec plot now.
All right.
I love that name just because it's annoying. 15-sec plot now.
It'll only get worse from here.
Okay.
Don't worry, headphone users.
Yeah.
I disabled the last alarm.
Which was an alarm. It was a robot that just sits here. Not a robot, it's a machine.
Well, yeah, it was set to destroy anyone who took more than 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And
anyone listening to that person.
Right.
Okay, so...
I was just waiting for any noise to come out of your mouth. Okay. Alright, Spy Kids 4.
Two new spy kids emerge out of desperation and destruction of the Timekeeper after learning that not only is their mom a spy, but their dog is British. The twins hone their skills to stop a misunderstood villain. Time. Okay. So that was a relatively brief one, even though there's some more complex, weird
Very
things
complex.
going on.
Very
It's
deep. More deep than God abandoning men.
And I'm gonna start off by saying this. I was pleasantly surprised by this. I've been told and shown that this is one of the worst things that has
Ever just
existed. And going in feeling like that, I ended up really
I enjoyed
liking
it
this
as well.
It's garbage. It's bad, but there's this energy and just laughing at it. Sometimes with it, occasionally with it.
Occasionally,
that. But there's so much. For a movie called Spy Kids All the Time in the World, I feel like it's 88 minutes. That's one problem with it. It's kind of brief, but at the same time, it feels like a lot. I also feel like Rob Rod is going even. Like, the more kids movies he makes, the dumber he thinks kids are. Like, I get that feeling. Like, now...
Well, it could be that, or as we get older, we just recognize the dumb.
No, I'm gonna argue on this one.
Well, I didn't...
Watching the other ones...
I didn't put any thought into that statement, so there's that. But I was throwing it out there to just devil's advocate you.
I'm gonna say the main sign of this has to be the bad kids movie trope, where every substance is a form of goop.
Oh, yeah.
Baby foods, like green goop, boogers,
the thing,
poop.
There's a blue cheese trap. Now, I'm not a cheese expert either, but blue cheese does not look like the Nickelodeon slime.
It's just blue goop.
It's blue. It's not like cheese. It is just a light blue, like a turquoise goop.
Yeah. And this is something that recurs on every, like, direct-to-TV kids movie where everything's goop. Like, the kids' lunches are goop, and then the lunch lady says, eat your goop.
Mm-hmm. And it always has, like, the sound effect go off.
They seem to have gotten, like, a huge shipment of goop, and they're like, well, we'll just use this
as much as
returning and keep doing this until there's no goop left. And every different substance was a different color of goop. I noticed, like, the baby food was different colored than the boogers, then the vomit, which was orange, and then the poop.
All right, did this one have 3D elements?
This one was in 3D. It wasn't as showy because it was 2011.
I'm remembering though that, like, some of the stuff was coming at me.
The big gimmick of this movie, Rob Rod says, is it's got an aromascope, a scratch and sniff thing, that while you're watching in 3D, a number will pop up when they's dropping Cheetos, I bet. When Cecil, I don't know, Cecil
whatever it is,
drops his Cheetos on the screen, you probably scratch and you're like, Cheetos. But this...
A very bizarre idea.
Yeah, this movie is also very disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
We watched this one together. The other ones we didn't, but when we watched this together, there were a few moments when we verbally said,
Yeah.
Like, it got a reaction.
Like, grabbed my heart with how gross it was.
Yeah, and we've watched, like, scary movies together. We've watched a couple Saw movies together, just dumb stuff.
Right.
Nothing ever got us, like, vomit hitting someone, or when Jessica Alba throws a poopy diaper and just diarrhea shoots out.
I think the only thing to come close with, like, the gross for me was the remake of Evil Dead, when there's people suffering horribly, and it's like body horror damage.
Yeah.
Which I can handle most things, but, like, that stuff always gets me, and that was basically the equivalent feeling I had to vomit bag hitting
being
someone.
Thrown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another weird trope. Like, the grosser it gets, the dumber he thinks his audience is. Like, they like poop, they like vomit. This movie is centered around time. I think if you couldn't tell.
Yes. In fact, it is so centered around time that in the 88 minutes that is the movie, they say the word time, I believe, 119 times.
Yeah.
That is more than once per minute.
We sat there counting one by one how many times they say time. And
we actually watched like the first 20 minutes.
We watched a good
And
portion.
after the first 20 minutes, we're like, they've already said time probably about 40 times.
Yeah.
We have to count this. And so we started over.
We had to restart.
We counted it. 119.
And restarting it, I was a little depressed, like, oh no, we're starting over. But then watching it, I was like, I'm fine watching it.
The opening
it's so
was
bizarre.
So funny.
Jessica Alba's pregnant, and then the person in charge of her says, "You forgot one thing. You're pregnant." And he talks like that,
like an old school.
Yeah, you're pregnant. And then there's a huge car chase, and then there's the whole joke of the villain TikTok jumps over the car, and then Jessica Alba tries to scooch her way over the hood of the car even though she's pregnant. I genuinely laughed at that. I'm pretty ashamed to admit that, but I genuinely laughed at that. I thought it was a good joke.
A lot of time jokes, puns, clock puns. I mean,
TikTok, timekeeper.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm pretty sure they used some of the same ones. Like, what was I'm gonna clock you.
Yeah,
was said probably
clock or something.
Well, yeah, it's said 10 different times probably.
Yeah, and that wasn't our only reaction to this movie. I had a very vocal reaction when there was a plot twist in this movie, and it wasn't like I'm so dumb I don't get plot twists. I wasn't expecting a plot twist in Spy Kids 4 All the Time in the World,
and that level of plot twist in a Spy Kids movie was insane.
I think I said something like no.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say plot twist alone. We're seeing the movie.
Yeah.
But it hinges on the concept of, are you able to identify Jeremy Piven? Because, and we're gonna go spoilers into this as if you've seen the movie as well. Jeremy Piven plays multiple characters in this movie, multiple villains, and
he's like a he time travels and he tries to correct something.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't work, so it creates another version of himself in this reality.
He was stuck in time or something, and he watched his dad die. Like something really sad about that in a movie where vomits being
his dad worked his whole life to unfreeze his son. And died in front of him.
I'm getting goosebumps.
It was so insane because this whole time you're like, a quirky, dumb villain,
very dumb,
and then two dumb villains.
Literally had a clock on his head and called himself the timekeeper.
Yeah, and
the other guy had goggles.
Yeah, sure enough though. I mean, it flips on you, and you're like, he just wants to be with his dad and stuff. Yeah.
And it should have been very obvious. I don't know what Jeremy Piven really looks like that well enough, because he's the new head of OSS. He's also the villain, and so just by there you should be like, oh my god, that's the same guy in both of them. This guy's bad,
right?
And
but then he's also another villain, and he's also all of the henchmen.
so the I said was when all the villains started taking off their masks, and it was the same face. I freaked out majorly. And
it got us good because we're sitting there having our laughs, counting the times,
catching times,
and it just shocked us.
and for me, it was because we've sat through at least 2 movies where they were just goons because they're goons, and they're just themed goons, and I just thought, oh, these are just clock goons.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they start taking off their faces. No. But thank God we got. What do you think of the new kids, the twins?
I think that I forgot the hearing aid joke. So the son has a hearing aid, and they kind of like point it out and stuff. So it's not like it's like a one scene dumb little joke, but like
Yeah, he's bothered by his twin sister, so he turns off his hearing aids.
Which I mean, there's a few like
bordering on insensitive.
Yeah, hearing aid jokes don't even happen in like adult comedy movies. So in a kid comedy movie, it's like, but there's one part where the bad guys capture the kids and they take away his hearing aids, and then the boss shows up and he's like, "Give those back. We're not that,
Yeah, we're not monsters.
We're not monsters." And they give him back his hearing aids. It was so. I thought it was pretty funny.
It was funny. It was also this whole family in this movie. They transitioned from a Hispanic family, traditional Hispanic. I want to say traditional. That sounds weird. Stereotype type accusation. But
just a normal family,
that was Hispanic and added diversity. We're to a white family now, and they just. Do you think the hearing aids are just part of that? We need diversity. What can we do that sets us apart?
It might be that. I mean, they did introduce our original kids back in the movie and stuff. They're older now.
Yeah,
but
I didn't like
I
that.
think that they just kind of were like, "Hey, these people will be in this movie."
Yeah.
That we can't get Antonio back, so we need a new group. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I think that the hearing aids might have helped if they had less jokes about it.
Yeah,
for the diversity, but like it was a joke.
There were several things I was just scratching my head at. The idea that they figured out Jeremy Piven was a bad guy because he used anagrams.
Oh gosh!
If you're a bad guy and use an anagram, that's not just use a different name.
Yeah. Well, that and like that the anagram didn't make sense. Really.
I don't remember what it was, but it was something dumb.
Yeah, it was the
might as well have been evil
guy. His name was like Bob Disaster.
I thought it was Danger something.
Oh yeah, it was Danger. You're right. But yeah, and then it like flipped, and it's just like what.
So yeah, to wrap up this one, I like this movie. I was surprised. The twist. Some of the humor is okay because they have Ricky Gervais as a talking dog, and it's kind of there to say like, hey parents, stay with your kids in the movie theater. Don't abandon them. And then in the very end credits thing, they had this weird thing where they're like finding a spy kid, and they cut to like a random movie theater. And then like zoomed in on one kid, and he's like, "Well, I'm a spy kid," and then it made me laugh so hard.
That was
watching that in a dorm room at home.
It was pretty hilarious.
If you were 5 years old and you saw that movie in the theaters, do you think? And it looked like your theater.
You might be. Yeah.
Do you think that happened in your theater? Like I want to say I'm smart enough, but I think I would believe it.
Yeah, as a kid, I would have believed it.
I probably would have been like, I gotta find this kid.
I gotta find this camera and be in front of it.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap up and rank these movies, but before that, I gotta go. I'm so sorry, it's very unprofessional. It's first episode. Very first episode.
What kind of host are you?
I feel bad. I said something behind your back, and I think you could host this show. Just introduce this next guest.
So I was in
but I gotta say why I want to leave.
That is a reasonable thing to do.
Yeah, because you're probably thinking I'm a jerk, but I really got to make these anagrams. Like I've been working on these anagrams. I'm gonna go over there. I need to focus. Just gonna be sitting over there in the corner. I gotta make these anagrams. I want to commit a crime.
Okay, and so you need a code.
I need a code,
but you want to be traced too because you're that good.
Yeah, I want to be caught because there's no justice for anyone in this. You're a good guy.
All right, so our guest here is going to be a different perspective. We don't get a lot of common men to tell us all about movies. We hear a lot from critics. So we're a lot of common men, so we invited another one. I've got a construction worker. His name is Brick the Man Manson.
Oh?
Hey, Brick, how you doing?
Not much. Just an old construction worker.
What might be one of your favorite movies?
Oh, Brick.
Brick?
and Brick Mansions. Favorite movies.
Those are some pretty good movies. Why do you like them?
Really... Well, man, I'm going to be honest. I didn't really pay attention during those movies. I was building a house.
Right.
Yeah, but I love the names. One's got Joseph Gordon-Levitt. That's Brick. He's pretty cool, I think. He's not that cool, but he rides a bike around town. That's pretty cool. Not in the movie, but a different one. I'm sure he does that in real life as well. Also, Brick Mansions, Paul Walker. I like scary stories, so see a ghost is really cool. I didn't see it, though. I was building a house, as I said. I'm a very manly man.
Speaking of ghosts,
Boo.
Paul Walker.
Yes.
All right, next up.
Yeah. No, I said seeing a ghost and Paul Walker. The Brick Mansions is not about a ghost. It's just Paul Walker. I address every movie with a dead person as it's about a ghost.
Got you.
Yeah. Well, you should see me watching 12 Angry Men.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but
a lot of ghosts.
It's about a haunted courtroom. And they go to deliberate, and all these ghosts are talking to each other and say, I think he's guilty. But again, I don't really watch movies. I kind of have a little TV on the construction site.
Got you.
Very manly man.
Do you believe in ghosts?
In life after love?
No, I was going with ghosts.
Oh, ghosts.
Yeah.
Ghosts.
There's no life after love. Everyone knows that.
I do believe in ghosts.
Yeah?
As a manly man, I think who could take care of a ghost more than a man? Like, if someone's gonna bust ghosts, I think a man should do it, and only a man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. People hate me.
I wonder why. It's not like there's like a new movie or anything.
Or an old movie.
That'll be featuring women.
I see. I didn't want to see it.
Of ghosts.
Never want to see that movie.
Never.
It came out, it came, it went. Don't want to see it. I'm too manly.
Oh, okay.
I'm a manly man. I work on construction. Want to hear about the newest house I'm making?
Sure.
Yeah, 5 bathrooms, 1 bedroom, no halls or anything, so they're all just connected. It's a little weird. There's no doors. Oh. So getting from one room is just a ladder. You climb the ladder and you fall over, most likely into a bathroom.
Oh, right.
No, just 1 story. I'm not that
How's that ladder work?
No, there's a ladder in every room. There's no roof. I should say that. There's no roof.
Okay. I didn't get that memo.
There's no roof. I'm too much of a man for a roof. I need 5 bathrooms, though. It's really messed up.
Oh, so you're buying the only house that you're building?
No, I just assume people need things that I need.
Got you. That's probably a safe bet.
So what is this? Some sort of podcast?
Isaac didn't tell you?
No. No, he just invited me. He said, "Hey, you would be great on this. I gotta make some dumb names. I don't know what that means." But yeah, you talk about TV shows?
We're talking about movies.
Specifically. Ooh, I love movies. You know my favorite? Brick and Brick Mansions. I think I said that before.
I think so too. Have you, because you like houses and whatnot, have you seen the first 10 minutes of Up? Or any of the other parts of Up? How does a man like you react to a movie like Up?
Ooh, I don't react.
Not at all.
Stay away from it.
Oh, you just don't even...
Not old enough to see it. It's about an old man. I'm not an old man. I'm only 56.
But there's a kid in it.
I'm a very manly man who works on construction sites. I'm 56. There's a kid in it. Yeah, but you cut the difference. I don't know. What kind of movie are you talking about today?
So specifically today, we're doing the Spy Kids franchise.
Spy Kids?
Yes.
Don't like that.
Why? Not enough men?
I'm a manly man. I don't watch movies about kids. What am I, a kid? No, I'm a manly man. What do I got all the time in the world to watch all these Spy Kids movies?
Sir, you may not recognize it because you haven't seen them, but you actually just said the title of one of the movies.
Wow. Well, I guess game over then. Ugh.
Are you 100% certain you haven't seen these movies?
Never seen them. Never seen the Chronicles of Junie and Carmen.
Who?
Don't know what it's about, Junie and Carmen? I'm guessing.
Who are they?
I don't know. I'm a manly man. I work on construction sites. I build houses with 5 bathrooms, 1 bedroom, and no halls.
You see, that's the name of the protagonist in the movie.
Really?
And Junie.
Good guess.
Junie.
You know, Junie and Carmen are very, very common names where I'm from.
I would like to think that they're the exact opposite.
You want to know where I'm from?
No.
Okay, well, I'll say it anyway. I'm from the island of Lost Dreams.
And where might that be?
I don't know. It's lost. I think a plane crashed into it a few years ago.
Oh.
And then a bunch of cast members, and they're on the island. They don't know what to do. I built a couple houses there, though, so they're fine. If they need the bathroom, they're deep in the woods, though. They might think there's some monsters or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, it's just you using the bathroom?
I'm not even there anymore. I lost the island, but I built stuff before I left.
How? When did you leave? Were there monsters there? Really, though?
They weren't old enough. I wasn't talking to them. They weren't men. They're first off, they're monsters. Second off, they're really young. I don't hang out with that. I don't hang out with youngs.
Alright, Brick.
Call them youngs.
Have you ever cried before?
Yes.
For what purpose?
So I was buying Brick Mansions on DVD.
Just like
they ran out of VHS copies. I had to buy it on DVD. And I thought the price tag said $7.99. It turned out to be $12.50.
Those numbers aren't even remotely close.
I also am illiterate. I didn't mention this.
I might know a guy that you'd get along with.
Really?
Yes, but he's gone and he won't be coming back anytime remotely soon.
Well, I better go find him. Okay, I'm off.
Good
luck.
luck.
Gonna go see him.
All right.
Very nice to meet you. I don't think I'll be back. I don't watch movies. If you ever do a Brick Mansions episode, call me. I've seen 5 minutes of that movie. Then I start building houses.
All right, okay. I will do that.
I see ya. That guy's huge. Okay, so my anagrams aren't that great.
Yeah, what are they?
Well, I was writing them down. I really liked them, and then I turned on them. I thought that's not that great, and I just ate the paper.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It's a little weird for a first
you don't have
episode
any
to reveal.
recollection of a little bit of what it might have been.
No idea. Okay, so let's get to our last segment. It's a really long episode today.
Really long.
We're gonna rank the movies from best to worst.
All right, real quick. Because all right, I've got a different scale of things, right? Am I rating it on whether or not it's a good movie or how much I enjoy it?
Your enjoyment.
My enjoyment.
Like if you were to say which ones you're most likely to see again.
All right.
I got my list if you want me to go.
You can go ahead and start that.
Okay, so I'm gonna go Spy Kids 1. That's number 1. Number 2. It's Spy Kids 4 all the time in the world. Controversial, I would say.
Very.
And then Spy Kids 2, I think it's a little slow, a little boring for me. Then Spy Kids 3D Game Over, the end. That's it. I don't like that movie. That's my list from best to worst. Were you able to put them in order? There are 4 things.
So Kid Joe would definitely disagree with this.
Kid Joe didn't see the 4th movie.
But that's true. But I'm gonna go a little bit different. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna start with 2 because I love the creatures. I love that they're stupid puns.
Slither.
So much. Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that.
That's not a pun.
No, it's okay. I love how it's bullfrog and it's a bull and a frog, and I love how it's spider and a monkey. But so starting with 2, then I'm gonna do 1 because it's a classic and I think it's better.
Yeah,
in general.
Turner classic movies. And
then I'm gonna do 4 because that twist was hilarious. I liked Ricky Gervais as the dog. And then 3, I love the video game idea, but yeah, it's gonna have to be the last one just because, as you mentioned a few times, it's everywhere. It's hey, let's do this thing. Hey, let's do this thing. And it's just how they get between the places. They're usually shot from a spring or something. It's just so bizarre.
Yeah.
And no spy element at all.
No. Not much. Okay, so that's gonna conclude this discussion of Spy Kids on Franchise Mutiny. One last thing that I want to talk about is we do have an email. If you are... I'm convinced that no one's going to listen to this at all. I think no one, especially how long this is, no one's going to get to this point. But if you did, please email us at franchisemutiny@gmail.com. It's just the title of the show and then at gmail.com. And it could be how much you like this show, how much you hate it. You could tell us how much you hate it. Please don't say anything negative about the guest. He's been so kind to even do this. But please pounce on me. And, yeah.
You could tell us your favorite type of fish.
Yeah.
You could tell us literally anything.
Yeah, you could talk about the series that week, or Spy Kids. You could talk about... If you have something you always wanted to talk about, but no one wants to listen to you about, like... sharks and whales and the impending war
whale
between
sharks.
Email us, tell us about it. We'll read it on the show and respond to it. And if you're the only one that does this, we'll keep doing this. You'll keep emailing us. We'll learn more about you, and it's just a way for us to be interactive. And thank you so much for listening to this. Thank you for being a part of this, Joe.
No problem. I had a lot of fun.
Cool. Goodbye. It's over now.